Guyana secures UN Security Council seat. GCOM denies voter disenfranchisement claims. And Ramps Logistics expands into real estate. I'm Rico Beaufort, and this is Uncut News. To see what's happening, send us a tip on WhatsApp at 592-659-6151. Guyana has secured a non-permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council for Latin America and the Caribbean states, with 191 out of 192 votes. Apparently one person abstained. The UN Security Council deals with international peace and security and has the authority to adopt legally binding resolutions, deploy peacekeeping missions, and impose sanctions. The new term begins in January 2024, and Ghana's growing oil sector has been increasing its presence and role in international organizations. Although, side note, who's girly over there taking the victory selfie? Aha, I love it! If anyone watching knows her, tell her Noriko wants to see that photo. I'm going to share it with everyone here. The Education Ministry continued the distribution of the cash grant for school children. The distribution they decided to move before the election in an obvious attempt to purchase votes from our nation's parents. The Ministry of Education photo that you see here is from the Walton Hall Nursery School. The effort started yesterday and will continue among various schools throughout the nation all this week. The current cash handout is now $40,000 per school child. I'll take the money, because as taxpayers, it's our money. But vote with your conscience and don't let them buy you out so easily. The Health Ministry has begun construction on a $66 million health center in Monrepo on the East Coast, which will provide healthcare services to residents in the area and surrounding communities. The facility will offer mother and child care, immunization for children, treatment for chronic diseases, and dental care, among other services. The Health Ministry plans to work with the contractor to ensure timely completion of the building so that services can begin by mid-2024. This health center is one of several initiatives the Health Ministry is undertaking to improve healthcare across the nation, including the construction of 6 regional hospitals. Apneu has expressed its support for a commission of inquiry into the deadly Maria dorm fire. In a press statement published today, Apneu said that the COI must be credible and acceptable to all stakeholders, and they want to actively participate in shaping the terms of reference for the COI. Apneu also calls upon the government to initiate the process to address this paramount issue and wants the president to move swiftly to appoint the CEO. GCOM has denied allegations that some members of the joint services were disenfranchised ahead of the June 12th local government elections. However, for eligible members who did not get to vote, they will be allowed to cast their ballots next Monday with the rest of us. Opposition Commissioner Vincent Alexander claimed that 10% of joint services members were disenfranchised, but GCOM dismissed this as false. GCOM explained that it prepared a register of ranks who were eligible to vote, and once the eligible officers were determined, they were listed to vote at the locations where they were stationed. Ranks who did not get to vote last Friday, again as I said, will be able to vote on Monday with the rest of us, but they will have to return to the local authority area where they live to cast their ballot. Attention truck owners, between potholes, bad drivers, and high fuel prices, you've got 99 problems to deal with, but with Powered Automotive, your engine ain't one. That's because they stock high-quality parts and spares you need at prices you can't beat. Visit them at Lot 491 EE Eccles, or call or WhatsApp them at telephone number 6970171. Save big on truck parts at Powered Automotive, the #1 heavy-duty truck parts store in Guyana. Tired of waiting on hold, tracking down a delivery driver, or carrying cash for your food orders? GTEats is here to make your life easier. Guyana's first cashless food ordering and delivery app. Choose from Georgetown's top restaurants, pay securely with your card, and get your food delivered right to your doorstep. With the convenience of being able to order from your phone and the added feature of tracking your order, GTEats is the ultimate solution for all your food needs. Download the app on Apple and Android stores and start ordering the easy way today. The Ministry of Agriculture has estimated that it would cost $145 million to guard the East Demerara Water Conservancy and is inviting eligible persons to bid for the contract. In March, Ghana secured funding from the World Bank to reduce flooding in Georgetown, including the East Demerara Water Conservancy. The Ministry of Agriculture signed contracts amounting to US $8.5 million, which seek to reduce the risk of flooding in the low-lying areas of eastern Aurora. The project has three components: priority works for flood risk reduction, institutional strengthening for flood risk reduction, and project management and implementation. Now for crime news. A truck driver in Burpees was arrested for narco-trafficking after being caught with over 120 pounds of marijuana hidden under a load of sand in his truck during an anti-crime patrol over the weekend. The driver could not produce any documents of the vehicle, but showed a firearm and its license to the officers. The search of the truck revealed large parcels of marijuana, and the driver was arrested while the passengers were not detained. 53-year-old businessman Michael Andrew Morgan will receive his verdict on Friday for charges of trafficking $3.5 million in cocaine. Morgan was arrested in June of last year after 3.278 kilograms of cocaine were found at his home. His attorney had petitioned for bail in the High Court, but the application was dismissed. Morgan's brother Peter Morgan was deported from the US in 2015 on charges of conspiring to import, possess, and distribute 5 kilograms of cocaine. 29-year-old boatman Gavin Cox died from drowning and blunt force trauma to the head after his craft was hit by a speedboat on the Essequibo River. Boat accidents in the nation have been increasing, and it's unclear if charges will be brought in this case. Now for today's oil update. Ramps Logistics Guyana is developing a $5 million luxury apartment complex named SkyHouse in response to the housing demand brought on by the oil sector. The building will be located just off of the railway embankment road, north of the Arthur Chung Conference Center and Gifflin Mall. Project documents submitted to the EPA said the building will sit on a plot of land with dimensions of 122 feet by 99 feet, or 0.28 acres, and the building dimensions are 86 feet by 78 feet, and will have 16 self-contained apartments, a gym, pool, and green space on the rooftop, and 25 car parking spaces on the ground floor. The Environmental Protection Agency has exempted the project from conducting an environmental impact assessment due to low environmental impacts. I mean, it's an apartment building, so yeah. In other oil-related news, Diamond Property Management has applied for an EPA permit to construct a dock facility at Friendship on the East Bank for platform supply vessels servicing the oil and gas industry. The private development is estimated at $25 million and will feature covered berthing areas, a heavy lifting dock, and an office building. The EPA has determined that the project will have low to medium significant environmental impacts, but these will be mostly short-term and localized. The regulator is satisfied that all waste generated will be managed and disposed of properly. Don't know why, but apparently they feel satisfied.
Robbery season might be over, but the streets are still mean. That's why you need to get security for your home or business with Sheriff Security. Sheriff Security has well-trained guards, armed and unarmed patrol, marine patrol, canine services. These people even got drones. Why? Because your security is their highest priority. You've seen the rest. Now hire the best. Hire Sheriff Security Service today.
Now for our Uncut News Fuse Poll question of the day. Every day we pose a question about current events in Ghana, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it placed was. Last night I asked, should MPs who are consistently absent be forced to resign from their position?
But before we get to that, I'm proud to announce our latest addition to the Noble Army, Richard Singh, who is supporting us at the reporter level, the highest level of monthly support we've received so far. So thank you, Richard Singh. And also, a special thank you to David Griffith, Dion Nascimento, Project Zero, and Dimitri V. I appreciate you all. And if you're watching at home and you'd like to support our movement, just hit the link in the video description.
Deslan Andrea White says they should be asked to resign because why occupy a position, especially in such an important sector, and then play incognito? That shows they are fulfilling their duties to represent, as all politicians promise during campaigning. Indeed, correct. Dimitri V says they should be required to resign because they are in a position of power and they are not fulfilling their obligations. Choosing not to show up for these meetings is a telltale sign that they are up to no good and don't care for democratic practices. I agree. This one's actually related to the cash grant. Dopamine says, when will Guyanese stop exploiting each other and being unreasonable only to have narcissistic political agendas? Some have no moral compass. Just imagine, because the cash grant was handed out today in Region 3, the short drop fare increased from $2.20 to $800. All the stores raised the school supply items. No wonder we aren't going anywhere morally. This oil wealth won't make a difference in a society with such behavior and people. Indeed, dopamine, indeed. Now for tonight's question. How do you feel about Guyana securing a non-permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council? Do you think it may lead to positive change, or will nothing really happen? I mean, I do believe we could probably use it to bush up in the Israeli case, but hey, that's just my idea. I want to hear from you. So, think about that question. Tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight, and check us out tomorrow for another. Until then, I'm Nico Bolford saying good night, folks.